And welcome back to the last part of exercise 1. What we're going to do now is show you how to output. So at the moment we have this composition like this and we want to output it. Now at the moment it runs 15 seconds that we need, but our composition's been made longer. You've got two options. You can shorten your composition, or here's another way to do it. I want to show you about render ranges. So if I scale this back, this little bar you can see here on the right hand side, you can drag this in and then use it to look at a specific bit. I want to show you how this can be quite useful. So you remember before I did that transition, so I hit the T key. Now you can see the green bar shows you bits that are rendered. Now if I fine tune this by the tiniest amount, so if I take, so I'm just scaling in, if I take that and make it like 1 frame shorter, you can see this bit here is now not rendered. Now there's a really cool shortcut on your keyboard called render to RAM. And if you press that, which is the 0 key, it goes and builds a RAM preview and it looks at your render range and runs over it again and again and again. So that's called your work area. Now, you can use this for outputting, as well as obviously building specific effects on sections and rendering them out. Now you click in the middle to drag it around, click on the ends to drag those. If I drag this out to the 15 seconds that we've made, there, what I can do is output only this, so I don't end up with all the black on the end that I don't need. So to render it out, composition drop-down menu, and add to render queue. You can also use Adobe Media Encoder, but I'm going to use the render queue inside After Effects. So you end up with this section here. So let's just do the simple things. We're going to choose where it goes to first because that's pretty straightforward. So you just click in the blue area here, go up one level. Remember that folder I made before called exports. All right, so I save it in there. That's Butte. So that's the location. Now you can just go for the presets, and that will use an animation codec, and it's going to look pretty good. But if you want to tweak it, which you can do, generally the thing to do, let's go through these settings. Let's start with the render settings. So you'll see in here the time span says work area only, so it kind of pre-selects it. So there's not much to do in here because a lot of these settings are pretty good, but that is kind of where you adjust those things. So let's not worry about that. This setting here is worth looking at. So if you want to adjust this, here's how you can do that. Now it's defaulted to a QuickTime, which is probably a pretty option, but you've got a few other options there as well. Let's have a look at your format options because this is where you pick your codec. Now it's gone for the animation codec. Nice codec. If you use it without thinking, it'll be fine. But you've got choices. Like you can use Apple ProRes. All right. So you got Apple ProRes 422 HQ. Maybe if you're only going for web, you could get away with 422 LT, which is still quite high quality broadcast, but a little bit smaller. So I'm going to choose that today. So I've changed the codec. I'm going to click OK. There's other things I can adjust here, like your audio output. I could turn the audio output off because there is no sound, but you can have sound with After Effects as well. So let's click OK. So now we've set that up. We now click Render. Now, because it's already done the render to RAM, it's really just going down now and finding the frames. So you should find that it's going to be pretty quick. All right, get a little trill when it's done. As an aside, you can stack jobs in the render queue and let them go. And let's now go and have a peek at that file. So that was, let's go back, exercise 1, exports, Singapore Zoom. So it's 154 meg, which is probably not a bad size for something that's 15 seconds and still kind of like a broadcast. So let's have a play of that. It looks pretty crisp. That's definitely good enough for broadcast. It's probably a low to mid-end broadcast codec. Actually, no mid-end really. And look, there's our little stop. There we go. There's our little animated sequence. All right, so that's it. that's how to output compositions inside Adobe After Effects. Thanks for watching.